Hello everyone. So I think the music, the volume wasn't on, so my apologies for that. So I'm gonna. So I think the music, volume wasn't on, so my apologies for that. So I'm gonna. Just to kind of reiterate why I thought Cameroon is a very good investment opportunity. I think one of the things that we have to really identify with Cameroon is, if you look at countries that have, so just give a background. So Cameroon is going through a crisis right now between Francophone and Francophone, which is the English speaking part of Cameroon, 80%, and 20% of the population is Anglophone Cameroon, located in the northwest and the southwest region of the country. Cameroon is a country that is based in central west of Africa, and we have been considered as one of the um, you know, for a while, been one of the most peaceful African countries. And recently, I think as of 2014, we had this spike in just civil unrest as a result of some, um, as people may say, Anglophone Cameroons are being marginalized in terms of job opportunities and all that. But, not to focus more on that, I think the point of this video is to share some of the um, entrepreneurial as well as investment opportunities that the continent of Africa, continent of country of Cameroon can have post this crisis. And this crisis might take a while. It might take a really long time for us to actually get on the other end. But if one thing that I would just love to share is that there is actually a lot of opportunities that emerge after a country becomes stabilized as a result of civil unrest. And getting in there at the right timing can actually be very, especially in a very strategic and well planned approach. You can actually be one of the frontiers or even one of the main players in the industry that um, you are actually competent in, and you have the skill sets to actually start something in a country like Cameroon. And the whole point of this is to suggest that perhaps Cameroon can be an investment hub post the civil crisis that is going on right now. And the reason that I mentioned that is, if you look at a country like Angola, for instance, which is based in central South Africa, they had a really, really long civil war that happened, for a while, like from the end of the 70s to right into the early 2000s. And coming out of that, Angola was, listed as a country where investing in a place like that would be very, very um, counter profitable, right? Uh, Granted that they have oil, which is a very good, very significant natural resource to get a lot of return on um, financial value. At the same time, it was considered as one of those countries that you don't necessarily have to invest in because it's just a very unstable place. So, um, but now if you look at it, you know, the decades that has passed from 2007 to now is actually has um, the wise people, the people that really saw the value post the Civil War, are actually have been able to make a significant financial returns as well as build a lot of value. Um, um, not just financially, but also create opportunities for the locals to actually get involved in the process of developing the country while innovating in a way that um, there's some economic growth on the continent in Angola. So Cameroon has, I think Cameroon is actually can be a very smart investment location of how we think of looking at countries that come out of crisis. The market is open, right? There is literally, fortunately, as a result of the crisis, you have some disruption that happens in the market that if you have the right idea and the right business model to address local needs, which would though definitely be much more of them as you um, as a result of the crisis, you're able to be to create new markets that can, address the specific needs of the community. And if you do it in a very smart way and, build a business model for that local community, I think there'll be a huge financial return as a result of that, while you're also contributing to building that economy. So that is why I think, maybe, depending on the timeline, hopefully things that get addressed quickly, and we're able to get back to a position where there is some conversation but also some stability in Cameroon. If you invest right now or maybe a few years down the road, you're in a better position of creating or being one of the frontiers of that specific industry you're interested in. Some of the things, maybe highly tech, or even just things like agriculture, because people need to eat and all that, but in a smart, agri-tech based way. Perhaps you are in you are in that position where you can create a lot of value for yourself, economic wise, but also for long term. If you start a very smart business that addresses some of these very critical basic needs, such as food, electricity, yeah, good education and healthcare, right? Something that I think also kind of suggests that that this might be a very smart move is, I've been reading the book Prosperity Paradox, and in that book it suggests that in countries like Cameroon, when you have what we call market creating opportunities or market creating innovation, which is one of the theories that Professor Christian Senin, Efusa Ojomo, and Karen Dillon did years of research on. Professor Christensen has done research on that for a while. There is, when you get into a space where people are poor, and you might say, oh no, this is not a market when you need to invest in, was still a country coming out of the crisis. It can be very counterintuitive to suggest that this is a place where you have significant financial return. But as explained in this book, if you focus on creating market creating innovations, especially in a climate where things are bare, unfortunately, as a result of the crisis, you can actually, in the long term, create so much wealth for yourself as well as for the investors. So I think that, suggests perhaps that when we think in that mindset, or put it on the lens of some of the theories that Professor Christos Sanin, as well as Fosa Jomo and Karen Dillon, with the support and the co-authorship of Karen Dillon, there is this opportunity where, if you're a smart investor entrepreneur, you actually appeal to the local needs and actually build a business model around that. And actually, one of the theories that I mentioned in the book is push versus pull. You actually create an opportunity where you're able to pull out resources from the people within that community. You're in the likelihood of creating something that will create a higher yield, as a result of the fact that you're tapping into something that the suggestion in the book on non-consumption, which is a market that doesn't exist yet, but you actually create a market out of just understanding what the local people need. So I do think that maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs to actually be in a position to create some really long-term financial value in economics like Cameroon. And just give an example. So in the book, they mention entrepreneur called Mo Ibrahim, who actually started this company called Settle. Settle is it was a mobile company started by Mo Ibrahim, and he started back in the late 90s. And most of the countries that he was trying to provide these cell phones, affordable and affordable cell phones, most of these countries were extremely poor, and some are actually going through some crisis, like Congo, right? Very significant crisis. And but he was able to figure out a way to actually build a phone that any other average African, even in those very dilapidated countries, as I call them, were able to afford the phone, but also able to use the phones in a way that, as we fast forward now, Africa is actually one of the highest has one of the highest number of mobile owners across the world, right? But he was able to find a way using market creating innovations to create a market within Africa that appealed even to poor countries or civil war infested civil war countries at that time, like Congo, right? So I do think that Cameroon is actually in a position where, if you look at it in a way that puts on the lens of the market creating innovations, and you go in there and really find certain problems that really addresses those specific needs of locals, I think you're in a better position of being one of the frontiers of creating economic value. And as a result, you be able to have a lot of financial return as a result of that. So I think the time to invest is now. Start planting the seeds now, and 5 to 10 years down the road, you'll be able to create a lot of economic value, and most importantly, also build the local economy of the country. But I think the timing for countries like this is actually the good time to to start investing in them. Granting that we are praying and hoping that people are safe and well in an unfortunate crisis like this, and we hope that it ends sooner. Um, so just be thinking that something that I'd love to share, and hopefully gives you a perspective of why I think Cameroon is a good space for um, investment opportunities, for entrepreneurial opportunities. And so thanks for listening. I hope this ignites and encourages you to think of innovation entrepreneurship in Cameroon. And if you have thoughts or reflections on that, please feel free to comment. Like the video if that was interesting to you. More videos coming soon, focus on finance, emerging markets, entrepreneurship, podcasting, which I share some of the video versions of that on my channel. So excited to keep on sharing, and hopefully um, can get the conversation going and stuff like this. So um, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in the next video. I hope your day is going well and you're having a great start of the month so far. So thanks for stopping by, and see you guys